right, let's get started. So this is Louisiana 4-H Leadership for a Better Louisiana virtual leadership camp. And I believe that we have one of our ambassadors on the call that's going to go through introductions today.
Hi, can everyone? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you sound great, Anna Claire.
Okay, thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Claire Zarang, and I am happy to say that it is week 3 of Leadership Camp, and I am going to introduce the camp instructors. So we have Mrs. Megan Franks, Dr. Kimberly Jones, Mr. Robert Easley, and Mr. Tay Moore. For our ambassadors, we have Anna Little, Sean Myers, Alexis Ellis, and myself, Anna Claire Zarang. And you can see that all the ambassadors have NCD next to our names. And to explain, an NCD is a national conference delegate. 4 are chosen every year. They're going to be incoming juniors, and they are able to apply and go through an interview process and are chosen to go to April of the next year to Washington, D.C. and speak to congressmen and women about important topics. And this year is awesome because we have 7 NCDs going. So I'm super excited for that. And last but not least, you are a crucial part to this leadership camp, and I hope you have an amazing time.
Great, thank you, Anna Claire. So just a quick tip about your Microsoft Teams settings. So please be sure to mute your microphone when somebody else is presenting, but we would encourage you that when there's time to share that you unmute your mic and share. Understanding that some people may not want to share that way, you can still share in the chat. Also, at any point in time, if you have a question about anything, feel free to share it in the chat. And just be mindful of the chat, so we're not, sharing random photos or anything like that. We're in the chat, we're sharing questions, we're helping each other out, and we're being positive, and we're pushing the conversation forward. So virtual leadership camp is for youth to allow them to investigate causes they care about, learning how to use their talents and skills to support a cause, finding the resources they might need to develop a service project, and who they would need to collaborate with to make that project happen. And at the end of the camp, participants will have a framework for their own youth-led service project that they can initiate in their communities. So the camp schedule, and then we have a good group on today as well. So these are every Tuesday at 2 o'clock CST Central Time. So this is session 3 of 4. So you guys are halfway through your leadership camp experience. Campers receive a digital badge for completing each session, and they have opportunity to earn prizes throughout participating in the camp as well. So we use the social change model of leadership development throughout our camp, and through the social change model of leadership, leadership is collaborative, it's a process, not a role. It is inclusive, it's accessible to all people and all youth. Leadership is based on values, and community service and volunteering is a powerful vehicle for that leadership development. So you'll often hear us refer to the social change model and leadership for social change. Next, we're going to move on and do a little icebreaker. So I think we have Anna on the call today. Are you here, Anna?
Hey guys, I'm here.
So, Anna, I do have one, if it's okay with you. We have a person that's going to demo first today, one of our instructors, if that works. Okay.
Yeah, sounds great.
So to get us started, and we have Mr. Robert Easley, who's one of our instructors. So he's provided a couple. So to kind of get us going, and then if you want did I pull up the right, is a slide showing up for you, Anna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So just so y'all could get a little bit of how it works, if you want to tell them how it works, Anna, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So Mr. Robert gave Miss Megan two things that are true about himself and one thing that is a lie. So you guys have to select which one he lied about. So it's either a lie that he is certified to work with farmers, or it's a lie that he is a Microsoft Excel expert, or it's a lie that he once worked as a server at IHOP. So, yeah, so y'all just go to the slido.com and that code on Miss Megan's screen. I see y'all, we did it last week and everybody really seemed to enjoy it. So, okay, well, it's 50-50.
Oof.
They definitely think Mr. Robert worked at IHOP. He is not lying about working at IHOP. Microsoft Excel expert. It's kind of in the lead. I don't know. I think all you guys are a lot more interested than I am because I could never come up with anything like this.
It was a struggle, yeah, trust me.
It was a struggle for you, Mr. Robert.
Yes, it definitely was.
Thanks, Sean, for putting the link in the chat for everybody. We appreciate that.
Okay, well, it's tied. Well, never mind, not tied. They think that Mr. Robert is not certified to work with farmers. Or the majority of people think that.
Do you want to
Everybody's neck and neck on this Microsoft Excel and farmers.
Do you want to call it, Anna? What do you think?
I think that he is not certified to work with farmers.
Oh.
What do you think, Miss Megan?
I don't think he's an Excel expert.
Ella.
All right, Robert, are you going to tell us?
So the lie is that you guys are right. I am not a Microsoft Excel expert. I
Oh,
would
man.
never say that I'm an expert in that software. It's a really great tool to use. So if you guys are learning it right now, pay very close attention because it's going to be very helpful once you get to college and start working beyond that. But yeah, not an expert there.
And you're a gold, huh?
Apparently, yeah.
Good to know. I can see that. Great. All right, Anna, do you want to try to find your camper?
Okay, so literally everybody volunteered last week. So, okay, Ella's already said. Did Ella go last week? Okay, and oh my gosh. How many are we doing, Miss Megan?
We'll do at least 2.
Okay, well, Ella and I'm not sure how to say the name, Anored. I don't know if that's her name or they were the first two to ask. So Ella,
it's Anita. I'm using my mom's account. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. Hey, Anita. So Ella, can you give us your 2 truths and a lie? You can either unmute your mic or type them in the chat for Miss Megan. Okay, Miss Megan, she said the first one is that she has 2 cats. You just need 2 more, Ella. The second one is that I know how to braid, how to do a braid. And the third is that I love puppies. Did you get those, Miss Megan? And I think it'll be at the same, it's at the same website, and I think it's the same code. Here we go. Alrighty, so is Ella lying about having 2 cats, lying that she loves puppies, or lying that she knows how to braid? Okay, they don't think she has 2 cats.
Not everybody can braid, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can't braid. Or
I'm
like,
gonna say I think she loves puppies.
yeah. Maybe she has 3 cats or 1 cat. I actually, like, all 4 of my dogs are in my room right now. It's Coco. And then Jack is over here, and Smokey, my black lab, is sitting next to me. And then my other dog is on the floor in the bed, so
How many dogs do you have?
4.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They're all crazy. Okay, everybody's thinking, or most people are saying that she does not have 2 cats. Ella
All right.
says, I have a lot of dogs. Yes, I do. Okay, Ella, can you let us know which one is your lie?
I think she said she only has. Oh, she's gonna tell us. Yes.
Yeah, we're ready. She said, I got it right. She only has 1 cat. So everybody was right.
I'm glad she loves puppies.
Yes, me too. Obviously, I love puppies.
Great. All right. Do you want to
So
find another?
the next person that asked at the beginning was Anita, she said her name. So, Anita, if you want to put your 3 things in the chat, or just unmute your mic and let us.
Okay. So the first one is that I have 2 dogs. The second one is that I have 3 cousins that live near me. And the third one is my baby cousin is a year old.
Okay. Miss May, did you get that?
My baby cousin is a year old.
Yes, the last
Okay.
one. Yes.
I was just laughing at what Ella said in the chat. So sorry. That's cute.
So, Miss Megan, we're gonna play again next week for everybody that wanted to go, right?
Yeah, we'll keep. We will play again. Ooh, this one is.
A tie. I don't know. Is it kind of laggy? There we go.
It looks well, kind of split. It's hard. This one's hard. I mean, it could be either.
I don't know. Like, her baby cousin could be 2, or she could have 4 cousins that live near her, or
Or
like,
she could not have any cousins. Oh wait, no, she has to at least have one. There's only one lie.
oh yes. Now nobody knows. They're all doing the same.
Split. I don't think we've had a 33, 33, or 33.
We still got
Oh.
like two more, or yeah. Oh my gosh.
Somebody asked Anita, why did you make this so hard?
Oh. Okay. Is there one other person? I think in the
you.
other two we had 17.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They think she's lying that her baby cousin is a year old. Anita, do you want to tell us which one you're lying about? I feel like this could go any way.
I'm lying about that my baby cousin is a year old. She actually just turned 3 today, so today is her birthday.
I knew it.
Awesome. Well,
Okay.
happy birthday to
Yeah.
Anita's cousin. So great, awesome. Well, you've got it. Do you want to do one more,
If we have,
and then we'll move on? Okay, we'll do one
have
more.
time.
We don't want to. We've got
I'll
a
go back
lot to do today. Okay.
Okay, Grace Simon was the next one at the beginning. Does she still want to go? Yep, there she is. Okay, Grace, can you put your 3 truths, or no, not 3, your 2 truths and a lie in the chat, or just unmute your mic? She says, I have one sister. I wish I had a sister. I just have one stinky brother. And he smells. She said, I love dogs.
All right, one more, Grace.
Maybe she has 10 sisters. My grandfather makes rubber stamps. Oh my gosh. I have never heard of rubber stamps. They're super cool.
Well, we don't know if it's alive, but that's neat. So let me go back.
I feel like that's kind of too specific though,
You think so?
for it to be a lie. Maybe she has. Yeah, I feel like she has 10 sisters or something.
All right. Last one for today. We got a lot to do today. A lot of fun stuff. So
Okay, they don't think she has one sister.
If
I
it's
kinda wanna
Grace,
know about the rubber stamp.
Okay, they're definitely thinking she does not have one sister.
They think maybe her grandfather doesn't make rubber stamps. So, all right, you got to let us know. We want to know, Grace, what's the lie? Really, we want to know about these rubber stamps, I think. Mostly me, but. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. But which is not true then? Oh. How many sisters do you have, Grace? 3. Okay.
What?
It's a lot of sisters. All right, Madeline, we will do next week. We know y'all are gung-ho about 2 truths and a lie. We had fun, but we definitely need to move on. So great job, Anna, and we will continue 2 truths and a lie next week. Okay, great. Whoops, sorry. All right, moving on. So I want to hear from Anne. Oh, I'm not leading this. Sean is. So Sean, you want to take it away?
All right. Y'all see me? Yeah? Okay. So next we will have our youth feature, and today we're going to be featuring Andrew Corville. So Andrew, if you're on, go ahead and unmute your mic and tell us about your cause.
Hello. My cause was healthy living because there are just so many factors that go into it. As you can see on the screen, and just not there are a lot of people in the world who don't have the things that we have in our lives, like computers or phones or a good house or even a house in general. So last Friday I went to hand out hundreds and hundreds of boxes of food to hundreds of vehicles for the United Way of Acadiana. And by the end of it, I almost asked some questions from the people that were in charge, but I just got the memo by the end of it that we had to keep fluctuating the amount of boxes that we were giving certain people because they were actually a little short on food boxes that day. So some vehicles only got like 3 boxes of dairy products, which was mostly just yogurt. And other people, they got 10 boxes with coleslaw and fruit, a carton of milk, frozen meat. And it's just so sad because it's so obvious that there are so many people in the world that have more money than they need or more things than they need, but they still only spend it on themselves. And I just don't think that's right. We should be able to share this with other people. And I also, for my community experts, I also said my parents because they are educators and they see a lot of things from kids and their stories and the hardships that they go through. And, it's kind of a little hard to wrap your mind around that some people don't have the things that we do. And doing what I did that day was it was very eye-opening to me. So
That's amazing, Andrew. It's an amazing cause to rally around. All right. So do we have anybody else who would like to share a cause? Maybe your community experts and any kind of partnerships that you made in the process? Like Andrew with the United Way? Okay, Ella says bullying. Would you like to elaborate on that, Ella? If anybody would like to say something, go ahead and unmute your mic. So she doesn't have a partner, okay? Have you done anything for this cause, though? Maybe reach out to people? She made a website. That's interesting. But it's still in progress. Well, you're going to get that way. Very good, though, Ella. So she said on the website, victims can reach out to counselors. It's interesting. To help solve bullying. I love it, Ella. Bullying is a big problem nationwide, yes. All right. So AB said that she can speak. So AB, why don't you go ahead and unmute your mic and talk? Tell us what cause you're passionate about. Maybe some community experts you partnered with.
So my cause is about teaching kids about empathy. for bullying, and I reached out to one of my mom's friends at her school that is a counselor, and I asked her about her maybe going virtually with some kids that have had bullying experiences to help them through it. And she said she would do it.
It's amazing. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
All right, so we have some comments asking if Ella would mind sharing the link. So if you wouldn't mind, Ella, go ahead and drop that link. I love this conversation about bullying and about helping out our community through United Way and anything like that. It's amazing. All right, so that just about wraps it up. Yeah.
Awesome job, Sean. So before we move on, I just wanted to let y'all know to make sure that you put your name in for today's prize wheel. So we will take a break after our first guest speaker, and we can spin the wheel for the reflection activity that y'all completed. And so just be sure to do that. And I just wanted to make a quick comment. So I live in Zachary, Louisiana, and we are currently experiencing some really heavy rain. So campers, if I lose internet access, just give me a few minutes, and I will get back on the call. I do have a generator. So I just wanted to let everybody know if something weird happens and I lose internet, I will get it back up and going, so just bear with me. That being said, let's move on to our, so we're going to talk today about community resources and also building relationships and collaborating with community. And so I feel like the best individual that can kind of lead us in that direction is our very own Tay Moore. So Tay, are you on the call with us today? If you're talking, you have to unmute your mic, Tay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. So, Tay, if you want, I could give the mic to you. And Tay's going to talk a little bit more about collaborating and connecting with community, developing partnerships, and expanding your networks to make change happen. So, Tay, if you want to take it away.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Megan, and thank you all again for having me. So today we're talking about partnering with your communities to really get your service projects off the ground. And as Miss Megan said, this is a topic that's really dear to me, especially growing up in a small town. Sometimes you have an even greater challenge of finding resources. But I found out that if you just make one step, someone or some organization or agency will pop up that is literally looking for help or is looking for your help or looking to help you. And it's so easy to get this mission mindset, send me, I'll go participate in this service project all across the country or across the world, which is great, don't get me wrong, but what about the mission field in our own backyard? So we can't forget about our backyard, and I'm so glad that y'all aren't forgetting that you can make impact right in your community. So I hope to help you gain insight on doing that and creating partnerships that will jumpstart change in your community. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is to research. And I know we've talked a bunch here in the leadership camp about researching various topics. And we've talked a little about researching community partnerships, but I want you to take a good bit of time to not only research the issue that you're addressing, but research your community. So who's the administration in your community, the elected officials, principals, school board members? Who are your community leaders, like area pastors or extension, other agents or club leaders of other organizations? What agencies are present in your community? Become a knowledgeable citizen of all these things. If you're not able to, it's all right if you're not able to name, every one of your elected officials or whoever, but you should have a good idea of who your politicians are and who your just community leaders are, because these are people who have resources that you may be able to use to help your service project. And still be bipartisan, not support whatever their political stance is. And if you're having trouble finding those folks, I encourage you to talk to your 4-H agent and ask if there are any existing partnerships that may already be in the work with the parish 4-H office that you're in. And so the next thing I would encourage you to do after researching is to create relationships and start a good reputation. So everywhere you go, you need to remember that you're creating a name for yourself. So be kind to everyone, try not to flip your lid when your order's messed up at the restaurant in town. Get off the phone, actually hold a conversation with people that are standing around you, because you never know who that stranger may be that you just run into at the local grocery store every week. Attend your council meetings, town halls if someone's coming to have some kind of forum, school board meetings, any public meeting that allows you to get to know folks, but also allows you to learn something. Because I guarantee you that if you start to show up to these things, some adults will begin to notice, they're probably going to be wondering, well, why is this kid here? Maybe he's just here this one time. But if you're there every time, they're going to begin to think, well, he's here for a mission. He's trying to be actively engaged in the community, and there's probably something that he wants to get done. And I understand if you have other obligations or sports or something, so I wouldn't advise you, to put down everything just to do that. But if you have time and something's going on in your community, you need to make sure that you're there just for your presence to be known and socialize with people. And after that, I would encourage you to step out. So after you've researched and now you begin to create relationships and reputations and people, see you, then you step out. And this is where you begin to volunteer more at events. Like I've heard a bunch of you say, you've already began volunteering. Some of you have already began making websites. So you begin sharing your passion with those leaders. And you can also write them a letter, so they've seen you at the council meeting every week or at some public committee, that's in your town that you want to partner with. They've seen you there. So now that you have a relationship with those folks, it's all right for you to write a letter, and tell them what you're passionate about and how they could possibly help you, and inform them of your project. And you could have a teacher or 4-H agent or parent review over this letter, and also get with your 4-H agent and send letters to community leaders in your parish every year. Create a spreadsheet with their addresses and things, and send them a letter that simply says, your parish 4-H program is very active. These are a few events that we're trying to do this year. We would love for you to come if you can, but if not, we would just like for you to support it. Maybe if you just want to come and volunteer or speak. And so you never know how much impact you'll be able to make in your community, but it usually always starts with just creating a simple relationship with people. And so after you've done those things, I guarantee you adults will begin to notice, and you'll receive support. And even other young people, you'll be a catalyst, and they'll want to become a part of the movement that's going on. But you need to also be prepared for some folks who probably won't respond, but that's fine, because it's not your loss, it's theirs. Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So one of the big things in creating community partnerships I'm trying to get across to you is to make sure that you're creating relationships with your community. Do you know your community? But more so, does your community know you? Do they realize, the jewel that you are, how active you are in 4-H and the great things that you want to do? And so I know I'll share here a few. Is it all right, Miss Megan, if I share a few things that we've done locally?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just so you know, there's a bunch of questions coming up in the chat when you get a second. So
okay, well, I'll just go to the questions then, because they may incorporate that.
Oh no, go ahead. You can share.
Okay. Someone asks, is it better to email administration or directly call them? Okay, so that's a good question. I guess as you're creating relationships with people, sometimes they'll give you a business card, but sometimes they won't. I would think it's better I would say send an email, make sure that it's proofread by your parent and your 4-H agent or club leader, send them an email. And if they do not respond, then make a phone call. And if the secretary calls, just tell them to have you call you back sometime. And they should eventually. I hope that helped, Lily. Anita? Okay, I'm trying to connect to the shelter in my area, but I'm a little shy with new people who are older than me. Like, okay, so I understand exactly where you're coming from, Anita, there. It can be very intimidating. And might I say, if I was in your shoes, I probably would not have the guts to just go up to these adults and start talking to them. But there's something that there's this drive inside of you, that's pushing you to want to connect with the shelter. And so maybe, and there's going to come a time where you're going to have to take that leap of faith, and you're going to have to overcome that fear, I guess you could say. And you'll probably realize that when you approach the shelter, that they're more welcoming than you ever thought, and you'll have another relationship there. So I hope that helps. And also, remember to always talk to your parent or to your 4-H agent. So if you are a little shy, maybe your 4-H agent can contact them and say, I have a 4-H'er here who would like to volunteer at the shelter, who wants to help. Can we set up a time for them to come? And so then you won't have to have that, I guess, direct communication that is uncomfortable if you don't already know the person, but an adult is better at doing that. Were there any more questions over there? Did I get them all?
I think so. Were you going to share some other examples of things, Tay? Or
yes. So,
okay, you can
yes,
go ahead.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So one thing that really went over well, I know bullying's come up a bunch, and we have a community renewal here. It's an organization, and they have a chapter here in Ringgold, and they did Caring Kids movement on the elementary side, and it went over really well, and you could tell there was a change in the atmosphere of the elementary kids as they began to realize that they should care for one another. And so Community Renewal is a very great organization if you want to jot that down. Maybe if you're dealing with bullying, if bullying is your project focus, maybe you could get with them, contact them. So food banks, in your school and your mayor's office. I've been active with my local mayor's office doing social media things, but that's also opened the door for me to be able to be there when, I guess, in the midst of a crisis. So when the coronavirus started and they stopped school, school ended, and they began distributing lunches. Well, they needed some location spots. So we were able to connect the school with the mayor's office so that the mayor's office could be one of the places where they distribute meals. And they did the same thing with the food bank too. And so as you begin to get connected with people, more opportunities will come up. So make sure that you're connected with your local government. And if some of them have like a youth leadership forum where you can apply, but if they don't have that, it still never hurts for you to just reach out to them and ask them, our town doesn't have, maybe you could just approach as I did and say, our town doesn't have any social media sites. Would it be okay for me to create one? I'll come to the council meetings and just update the citizens on what's happening. And so you're creating that relationship, but you're also building up a resource for when you want to do a service, when you want to participate in a service project, like distributing food with COVID-19 and masks. And also with that, I was able to sit in on a call with the White House coronavirus task force. So it really opens doors. Another one would be Students Against Destructive Decisions. I don't know if any of you have probably heard of that. Your school may have a club. It's a great club to connect with, and ours is channeled through our Bienville Community Coalition. And your parish probably has a community coalition too, and they really stress for youth to make positive decisions. And so every year they get together with the sheriff's department and the DA, and we do a parish-wide mock trial. And so I was active with Students Against Destructive Decisions and was able to serve on that mock trial jury. So that's another organization that probably has a bunch of events going on in your area. And one of the last things, through the LSU Ag Center, they started Healthy Communities. to promote healthy lifestyles in communities. And we have one here in Ringgold, and it's going really great. And we did our first Relay for Life. That was probably 2 years ago, and this is really good if your focus is like healthy living. And we were able to raise a little over $10,000 in a small town, like 1,500 people, for the American Cancer Society. We had a bunch of people come out, and I was able to take that time, since I volunteered with Healthy Communities, I was able to lead a rotation on making the blender bike smoothies. And so this is also stuff that you could like log for record book, but it opens doors for you to be active in service. And another thing we've done with Healthy Communities was we recently started a bicycle club. It's going great. We have about 30 kids who are active in it, and we're teaching them bicycle safety. We're following after the 4-H bicycle curriculum project book, and it's great. And we're also going to teach them how to take care of their bikes. And so that'd be great if some of you were trying to deal into that. But there are so many resources just around you if you just take the time to look. So like, never count out your community, but you have to really put yourself out there. A bunch of these opportunities that I've been active in, I can't credit myself with coming up with that idea, but I can credit myself with always being available when they arose. So make sure that you're available and that you're present in your community, and these opportunities will come up.
Thanks so much, Jay. And so we just have one final question before we move on.
Yes.
Is it better to connect locally or nationally? And so would you want to answer that, or do you want me to? Or
well, personally, I would say it's always better to start off locally. And then as you get more active, to dive into national stuff. But when you're doing things locally, you really have some leeway. If you make a mistake, the people know you, so they'll help you get up. Or if you may get yourself in a situation that you didn't want to be in if you start contacting national folks. And I saw someone else said it's kind of difficult to find organizations in Louisiana. Yes, I'm glad you shared that, Miss Megan. And also, if there's a community college or a college in your area, if you go on their website, usually they have a tab on I don't know what they would call it. Would it be called service learning? Community service, where college kids can go to get community service hours. So if you go on that tab, usually there are websites with organizations and links that are in your area. Like I was looking up one, Centenary College over in Shreveport has one, and there were a bunch of resources and organizations in the Shreveport-Bossier area that were just on that one website, like the Providence House and Food Bank of Northwest Louisiana, so many things. So.
Absolutely, Tay. And for those that are, I guess, for you, because you're going to LSU, but LSU has Volunteer LSU, and then also has a very active community engagement center with the database as well. So great information from Tay, as always, our student of the year and also former Louisiana 4-H president. And then just a shout out, I'm going to share this in an email that's going out to y'all, but there's a Opportunity for All forum that Tay's been asked to participate on with, sorry, I had to make that plug, with the National 4-H Council. And so and you will get an invite. It'll go out on our social media, but I'll put the link that in the emails that go out. So that will be August 5th, I believe, in the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken, but I will put that out in the email. And so it's a tremendous honor, and I hope that y'all will participate in that event, listen in, some great information that I think will be shared for creating access, equity, and mobility for America's youth. So thank you so much, Tay, as always.
Thank you, Ms. Megan. And if anyone has any other questions, you can just put them on the side and I'll type responses in.
So we're gonna take a little, let's say, brain break. We're gonna have a little bit of fun, and then Dr. Jones is gonna, after we have 2 games, I guess we're gonna do a quick spin for our reflections. So just give me one moment. If I can get my. There we go. All right. Can you guys finally see my wheel? Somebody?
Yes, we can.
Great. All right. Sean, or one of my ambassadors, you want to give it a spin?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right. Here we go.
All right, Gabriel Fontenot, congratulations. You have won. Not too sure what, but you have won.
It's either this is for the socks, I believe, from the VLA. So thank you, Gabriel, for doing your reflection. So I'm gonna exit there and come back to my screen. Great. So Gabriel, you can just stay on if you're on this call, and I can get your information from you later once the session's done today. So now we're going to move on. We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game called Scribble, which is it's like if you've ever played Pictionary. So anybody want to raise their hand? Have you ever played Pictionary? So we are going to play a collaborative game of Pictionary virtually. And so just give me a minute and I will get it set up and send that link out to y'all. So before we kind of move into our second part of camp, which Dr. Jones is going to talk about making, a number of things. And then we're going to move into our teams again. We're going to play virtual Pictionary. So okay. So I'm going to share a link in the chat, and you guys can click on that link and join the game. To view the recording. So just want them to see what we're drawing. All right, so anybody having any trouble? You guys ready? Uh-oh, you got the ad, Ella. So just so you know, if you you can join the game once it's already been started also. So for those of you that are still having trouble, you can definitely get. All right. Here we go. So Madeline, you get to choose a word and you're drawing first. So if you're seeing my screen, I type my guesses here in this box. And then this bar up here kind of gives me a hint. All right, that's the words. So it's going to be a 5-letter word. You guys get to draw, get to guess. So, ooh, Lily Grace got it already. Well, look at that. Oh. Ooh, I have no idea what that is. I'm not the best scribbler, just to let y'all know. A lot of people have gotten it already, so. Five-letter word, second letter is an A. Oh, it was water. Easy enough. Is it shower? Oh, almost everybody got that one. Oh, good deal. All right, Emma, here we go. Jessica, if you need to type, you see where my cursor is on the screen, that's where you type your guess. Now, if you're not able to do the scribble and you want to share what you think it is in the chat, you can go ahead. Oh. Ooh, 590 points, Emma. Good job. Fire King's guessing now. Ooh, what do y'all think this is? Nobody's gotten it so far. Ooh, this one's tricky. Stick figure, somebody said. I think I have an idea, but I'm not going to say. Now remember, on the top you got a hint, so it's looks like it's 6 letters, ends with an R. Second letter is an E. This one's hard. I think I know what it is. So think about the topic. Oh, nobody got that one. It was a leader. Tricky. All right, we'll do Anna Claire, one more drawer, and then we will move on. So this is Scribble, and it is free. And if you need to play, want something to do virtually while with your friends to pass time, it's a great way just to have fun, have a virtual game with somebody. This one's tricky. Oh, Vine, good job. All right, one more drawer, and then Dr. Jones is gonna take it away. Cat. AB says it's a cat. A bunch of people think it's a cat. Luke thinks it's a cat. Penguin. Okay. It's not a cat, y'all. Remember, you got a hint at this top here. Oh, it was Hello Kitty. All right, so that is Scribble. So I'm going to end that game, y'all. And Dr. Jones, do you want me to navigate your slides for you when you're presenting?
Yes, that'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. So, well, first I want to thank Megan. That was a great game. And it went well. So I'll definitely be using that with another group. So what we're going to talk about now is creating timelines and finding what you need. So we know that we have spent time identifying a cause, researching the cause, and brainstorming ideas. So now it's time to create that timeline and identify resources we may need. Now, why do you think it's important to create a timeline? Any ideas why it would be important to create a timeline?
To see how far.
Timelines can organize you, so everything's organized. To know what you did and when, to know our past. Yep, that's very good. So yes, that's why you would definitely create a timeline. Also, creating a timeline just puts more structure around what you have planned, and you're able to identify some things. And so it is a way to provide some accountability to make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. Okay, next slide, Ms. Megan. So when creating a timeline, you're going to identify the specific task that you want to accomplish in order to address your community issue. You also will, at this point, decide what order tasks need to be done. So making sure you give enough time for each task to be completed. You're going to decide who's going to lead each task and have everyone volunteer for specific duties and stick to their commitment. So like I said, that brings in accountability, especially when you're working in teams. Having that timeline down on paper with a plan on paper brings on accountability. So you're going to develop a plan for what will happen, when it will happen, and who will do it. So like finding out, those volunteers who sign up to do something. Okay. Next slide. So once you get your timeline down, the when, the what, the who, when you're going to start your task, when your expected end date is, and you can fill in everything in between. So some of the things you will want to do is finding out what you need. So learning projects are a great way to strengthen community partnerships. We've kind of talked about that previously. So you're going to brainstorm the resources you need, accomplish your project, and identify potential community partners. So we're thinking about some of the things you may need. You want to consider supplies. So what supplies do you need, and why do you need? So what ideas do you have for getting the supplies that you need? So these are all things that you're going to want to consider when when you're coming up with a plan. Another thing for sure would be money. Like, how much money do you need and what will you use it for? What are the possible sources for income? So in this, you can think, okay, do you have any donors? Do you have any sponsors that want to sponsor your service project? Or will you need to raise money? So it's just kind of thinking those things through and finding how you will get the money that you need. Your expertise. What do you need to know? Who might be able to help by sharing their expertise? So we talked about when we had you all kind of go out based on what your service focus idea is and go out and speak to the experts. So this is another way of trying to do that and getting those experts involved. And then how many volunteers do you need and what will they do? Who can you invite to be part of this project? So when identifying volunteers, you want to make sure that you give them a clear job responsibility so they can see what they will be involved in and how they will be involved. And you want to set those ideas out in advance of what you really expect from your volunteers. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn it, I think, back over to Ms. Megan. We're going to do some more group work this time based on the groups that you were in. We're gonna let you continue to making out your service project.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Dr. Jones. So we're gonna move back into our teams again. So if you were on the call kind of last week, we're gonna move back into our breakout rooms. We're gonna pick up where we left off, develop our timeline and a list of resources we need, and then we're gonna move back into the main room to debrief. So remember, we move into our virtual breakout rooms with the links that I share in the chat. Pick up where we left off, have that collaborative conversation, develop our timelines, list out the resources we need, and then again, after about around 20 minutes or so, we're going to move back into the main room and debrief after that. So what we're going to do is we're going to split back up in the rooms that we were in previously last week. So if you're team 1 that with animal welfare, that was it was Alexis, but Alexis is on set board, so she's not. Anna Claire is going to take over and moderate that. This is this room today that we're in right now. So animal welfare stays put. Team 2, that's bullying prevention. That's Sean and Dr. Jones, and that's going to be team 2, that room, and I'll share that link in the chat. And then team 3 is foster care awareness. And so that is Anna Little and Robert Easley. So our instructor and ambassador in that room, and that's going to be team 3. And so I'm going to share those in the chat. And so each of the ambassadors has the framework that you guys worked on last session, work on it again. And so we'll spend, a little bit over 20 minutes to do those, and then we'll come back in the room. And somebody's computer is about to die. And so if your computer's, I'd encourage you to go plug it in, because this is I think one of the more enjoyable parts of the camp. So, or you can, click back on with this cellular device if you have to. So let me share these links just a moment. Yes, you stay put. Yes.
All right, are we ready?
I think so. It looks like team 3's got 11 people in it, so we're good there. And team 2 has 12.
Okay, I'm very excited.
Good. Yeah, I get excited when this works because it can be complicated. So I'm going to unshare my screen because Anna Claire has is going to share hers. So.
Okay, I just want to preface for a second. I do have a little bit of bad weather on my end too. So in case you hear anything or in case something goes out, that is the bad weather. And I am taking Alexis's place. She is on the set board and I was on food and fitness board last week, so we're just switching. And we are talking about animal welfare, which is a very important subject. Right. I am now sharing my screen. Can everyone see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so would someone like to read these 3 bullet points below creative timeline for me?
I think Lily wants to read.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't have the chat app open on my screen.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go from the first one, I guess.
Perfect.
Identify specific tasks to be accomplished in order to address your community problem. The second one is decide when and in what order each task needs to be done. Make sure that you give enough time for each task. And the third one is decide who will be the team leader for each task. Volunteer for specific duties and stick to your commitments.
Awesome. Thank you so much for reading that for me. You did a great job. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So just as Lily said, we need to do all these things to create a timeline for our service project to run smoothly and efficiently. So let's first start off with a start date of the project. Would someone like to think of a start date that is attainable and that we can do it? I have a couple in mind, but I'd like to hear your opinions as well.
So when would be appropriate time for y'all to get your project off the ground?
When do you think is a time that animal shelters need more supplies, or when is a time that you think that dogs are going to need more food or cats are going to need more food?
Lily's ambitious. She said this Friday. And then Timothy said, yeah, Timothy thinks they need a month. Lily, you're not wrong. There's no bad answers. I just thought it was great that you're so ambitious.
Yes.
So,
Round of applause.
So how about we do it like this? So, Timothy says 1 month. So, how about say approximate start date? Maybe we could, like you said, when would be the most optimal time to do a project with a shelter? So. I'm gonna say in the spring might be. So
can someone think of a spring date? Maybe like March, April, May?
So one thing I do know about from working with shelters previously is, so what a lot of times around like in college towns, for example, when people move out of apartments and whatnot, a lot of times they get animals that are surrendered. And so that would be more of like May, June, and July. Okay, but Lily and Timothy say March. So I would go with what? Oh, and then I don't want to run into the holidays, Thanksgiving or Christmas. Okay, I think March is not a bad day. So
perfect. So let's see, maybe March. What would we want to do it on, like a Friday, or does it really matter? Let's see, March. Let's just do the middle of March, the 15th, 2021. Okay. And then when would be an approximate end date of our project? So would it be a month? Would it be 2 weeks or a week or just a couple days?
So I think originally somebody had said a month.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So I will write down April.
Lily said until June or July. So.
Well, let's compromise and put May, because May is in between April and June.
Okay, great. Y'all feel free, if you want to unmute your mics and share at any time, you're welcome to do that.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to hear all of your voices.
Timothy made a really good point. So he says if it runs for a month or longer, we may get more community help. And so I think helping to create awareness about the project. So the longer you do it, the more awareness you sometimes get. So so I think all of the ideas, like having it run for a month or having it run longer than a month, are all really, really good ideas.
Perfect. I love all of these great ideas. All right.
And y'all are welcome to, if you want to unmute your mics and share, but if you don't, that's fine too.
If you feel comfortable unmuting your mics, that would be great, All right, so now we're going to look at what will you do, when will you do it, and who will do the task. So what are we going to do in this project that supports animal welfare? Are we going to collect, Are we going to collect items? Are we going to do something along the lines of that? Because that's what I'm thinking. So would someone like to come up with some ideas of what we'll do?
We can volunteer at different shelters, like around the state, maybe. I don't know.
That's perfect. I love that idea. Please bear with me. I'm working through it. Perfect. I love that idea. Would we like to collect different things for the drive, like have a drive?
We could collect bagged dog food and bagged cat food, because I'd say canned dog food and cat food goes bad quicker than bagged. And we could also get leashes, collars, and things like that. Pillows.
Perfect. I love that idea. Thank you so much. Do we have any other ideas of what we will do?
So there's a couple of things in the chat. Do you want me to read those?
Yes, please. I can't.
So Madeline's sharing a lot. She's got spending time with the animals, trying to spread the word, getting them a forever home, and donating cat, dog, and rabbit toys. One thing that just a project, and you never know what your local animal shelters need. And so one time we were doing a no-sew blanket project. We had like over 100 of these no-sew blankets that we had created, and we had about half of them were not really well quality. So when I say well quality, they might not have been good to give as gifts or whatnot, but they were still really warm and usable blankets. That just the individuals that had tied them had not done the best job kind of doing that. Mm-hmm. And I saw a post from the animal shelter that said that they were in need of newspaper for all of the kennels. And so all we did was we just sent an email and said, well, we actually have these really nice no-sew blankets. They might have some mild imperfections. We have about 50. We were able to donate all those blankets to that animal shelter, and it was really a tremendous donation. And all they were, they might have had a couple of like mild imperfections, but for that particular animal shelter was something that they really, really needed. And instead of sleeping on the newspaper, each of the kennels had a really nice blanket to sleep on. So you just like never know what your animal shelter needs. I just wanted to share that.
That is a great idea, and we can kind of include that with the items for the drive, because that could be some people can be in charge of that. I think that's an awesome idea. All right, so what I have is volunteer at shelters around the state in parentheses, spending time with the animals, collecting items for a drive, and then the items, and then marketing, social media, and advertising for the drive, and just, to help animals and to treat them with kindness. Does anyone have anything else before we move on to when will we do it?
So there's another share in the chat. Madeline, Timothy and Madeline shared a bunch of stuff. Do you want me to read that?
Yes, please. I'm so excited that
there's a lot of great ideas. So the parish here has a channel and a community calendar where we can advertise for free. So look at you reaching out to your community agencies. Great job. Also needs pee pads. They always do. And that's a really, really good point. And then Madeline said we could make some treats for dogs and cats and they're humans too, to raise money, to buy treats for the animals at the shelter because a lot of them may not get treats. Yeah, absolutely. And then Lily has another comment. It would be nice for people to spend time with animals like Madeline said, because animals could be scared in their shelter. They might need extra comfort. And that's the other, just a good comment. So if you're really interested in working with your local animal shelters, a lot of times they open up their volunteer training to youth, and so they'll have an age limit, but it's sometimes it's 12 to 14 years old where you can be certified to volunteer at that shelter. And some of the shelters that really depends on what they have their volunteers doing. I know of two shelters that we used to work with in a previous role I had. One was had a very kind of more structured approach to what their volunteers did. They cleaned cages, various things, washed animals, helped with overall at the shelter, just maintaining things. And then one of the shelters really had their volunteers socialize. And that's all, they always looking for volunteers to socialize with the animals. And I think that's really important to just add, because I know that we enjoy socializing with animals, and that's actually a need by a lot of our shelters. So just a quick comment to that.
Yes, that is extremely important and crucial for the animals and the people who work there, because I'm sure they want some people to talk to and for people to talk to the animals as well. So for when will you do it, I have parish community calendar. So you could check your own parish community calendar for a time that is good for you. But I put down our approximate start and end date in this time. And I said, if not, then mostly in the spring season / springtime. Do you have any other ideas of when will we do it?
We could do it late in the fall, because soon it starts getting cold and maybe animals will be running on the loose in the cold weather, and that's not fair for them.
That's a very good, it's important that you bring that up, because a lot of animals get really cold in the winter, like the dead of winter, and get really hot in like the heat of the summer. So it's important that we do it in like the fall and the spring so that we can prepare for those times.
So just so we have about 7 minutes remaining. So we might not get to everything, but we accomplish what we can, right?
All right, and who will do the task? Of course, us or you. We can also put a volunteer volunteers that may volunteer to do it. Oops. And do you know of anyone else that could maybe help out or volunteer to help this great cause?
Your friends and family.
That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. So sorry, it looks like that. I can't get it to expand like I want it to. Anyone else? Maybe some members of your school 4-H club and or your parish club. Does anyone else have any ideas of who will do the task?
We could get members of other clubs like Beta or we don't really have too many clubs other than those two at our school, but any other clubs that would be willing to help.
That is an excellent point because my 4-H club at my school works a lot with the Beta Club because we help with the drives, giving them ideas so that they can get their service hours in and that we can help better the community.
I was looking through the comments a little bit, and someone said making our own treats, and I think that's a really good idea because sometimes you don't have to buy treats, but you can make them. I have 2 dogs at home, so I could test it out on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of. So, do we have any bakers on the call? Or who here has made dog treats before? I'm not the expert on dog treats. So, who wants to make them? I guess.
I've never.
I would
made
love
them
to
before,
make
but
them.
I can try.
Lily, is that you? Oh, Madeline said yes. So you got great. So this is what happens in Louisiana when we get weather in the state, but that's okay. So we're gonna have a couple folks are gonna start jumping back on our call now. And so we've got about 2 minutes, I think, left. Oh, there you are, Anna Claire. There you go. So I'll bring up your bulletin board if you just want to. Oh, there you go. You're actually in there editing, but if you want, we've kind of people are starting to come in from the other teams. So, oh, you're sharing. Okay, I'll let you take over then. I'm going to start calling in the other team. So if you want to get somebody to debrief for you, Anna Claire, that would be great. All right, we do have somebody that is signed up to debrief. And just give me a moment. I'm going to call back in the other teams. And Anna Claire, if you want, I can share the screen for you and your campers if you want me to do that because of your internet. Just let me know. Lily said she'd welcome. She would debrief if needed.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it, but it's
okay.
You're not sharing it, but that's okay. Oh, yeah, you got it now.
Okay.
But it is great. if I can edit. Great. All right, yeah, it's letting me do that. Okay, so Lily, you want to be the one that debriefs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Should I stop sharing now?
Yeah, you can stop sharing and
Okay.
we'll just give the teams a moment to kind of come back in, and I'm going to go back to this screen here. All right, and I'm going to share this, and then I'll wait for the other teams just a moment. Give everybody a little bit of time to get back on the call. So great job, Team 1. We had a lot of really active teams kind of watching some of the ideas, and so we had limited time to kind of develop our projects, but we certainly had a lot to talk about. So just going to double check. Make sure everybody's back in the room. So if y'all want to take a moment to just stretch out, give everybody a minute to come back on.
Are we gonna be doing Kahoot today?
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, it looks like we still have 2 people in. All right, Team 3. You see Team 2 looks cleared out. Robert, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. You got one camper that looks like they're in your room still, Katie Frank.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, just reach out and just double check that she's on. She might be,
Let's see, 1 second.
yeah, she might be in there, but she might not. So I just wanted to double check. And then looks like we're good in Team 2. Everybody's gone. So that's good. Ella, are you on the call?
She's not there.
Okay, good deal. That's good. I just wanted to double check. Ella, are you on the call? If you are, just give me a thumbs up in the chat.
She said yes, Miss Megan.
Great. Okay, great. So we're ready now to debrief. So, working in our teams is always fun. So is there a team that wants to go first? Sean, Anna, or Anna Claire? Which one of y'all's group?
If anybody from Team 2 would like to go ahead and announce, I can go ahead and present.
All right, why don't you bring up your framework, Sean, and Ella looks like she said she could do it, unless there's somebody else that wants to do it.
All right, Ella and AB seems to say they can do it. So, Ella, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear?
We can hear you.
Oh, wait. Yes, you can?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we decided to, well, in the last meeting, we decided that our main focus was going to be bullying. So,
So, and you see the long list of people that we decided to collaborate with. And so we decided to start in November 2020 early, so it wouldn't overlap for Thanksgiving. And it would lead for a year, and then again end at the same date that we started it in November 2020. My headphone fell out. Okay. You see the few jobs that we decided to have and the people who will do the task. And then if AB wants to take over from here, that would be good.
Here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, AB.
For scheduling, we chose Ella, and we did several weeks for meetings. And to make posters to put around town, we did AAB and Ella, so we can like share with people to show that what we're doing and trying to stop bullying, and to show we're doing this right now. For speaking at the event, we chose Miss Dr. Jones and AAB. And for social media polls, we chose Annabella, a meeting host during the event. I can't see what it says.
We just put that out there, AB.
Oh, thank you. And to work on the websites during the event, we chose Ella to show so people can go to the websites and look at what we're doing.
We didn't get to this actually. We just kind of discussed it. So I'll go ahead and explain what we discussed. So like we said, with our first week, we explained that we would need a lot of supplies to get this done, as we talked about here. We had plenty of volunteers that we'd have to ask, of course, but we discovered plenty of volunteers who would be great to help us host this program. Money, we'd explained that we could possibly get community helpers and volunteers like Mr. Taymor told us earlier, spoke about earlier, and expertise that kind of goes along with volunteers. So we need psychiatrists and stuff like this who could possibly help lead some of the events. And that's about it.
All right. Do we want our next group to debrief? So how about Anna Little? Would do that, or?
Yes, ma'am. Katie is gonna be our debriefer today. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
So she's just gonna go over what our main project is, and then what we did today.
Okay, so our main project is foster children in foster care. And today we decided that our project would be semesterly or kind of year-round, but we'd focus on different semesters. And so this one we'd start in August and go through December. This is ideally, of course. We would create flyers for the donation and the mentor program starting the beginning of August, and we'd have our marketing manager do that. And then we would create collection boxes around the middle of August, and our marketing manager would also tackle that task as well. We do mentor training around mid-August, and our mentor leader would make sure those mentors were ready. We'd have a donation period about the first week of September for about 2 weeks, and the collector will manage the donations. We will begin a monthly mentor program with our trained mentors around September, and our mentors are going to lead the children. And then we will manage our social media accounts all year throughout the project, and our social media manager will work on that task.
Awesome, great job. So is that
Sorry.
that's okay.
It's
Are you
not
gonna-
letting me.
Not letting you unshare, or are you?
There we go.
Okay.
I couldn't see my scrolly thing. Okay, there we go. Katie, if you want to continue, or I can. It doesn't matter.
Yes. Okay. And so for supplies, we will need paper for the flyers, for the paper flyers, but then we will have digital flyers as well. We are going to need plenty of donations to hand out, and then we will need materials for the mentors who will lead the mentor activities. We can potentially partner with local schools and churches and the CASA organization. For money, we could use roughly $100 to $200. Mostly we need donations, but the money that we can receive will help with paper flyers and extra donations. We can partner with the CASA organization, local schools and churches, or even local 4-H clubs. Under expertise, we can get help from the CASA organization, again, local schools, and Louisiana Heart Gallery. And then those we can potentially partner with. And for volunteers, we could use roughly 30 members, maybe more. 30 is just a good starting number. We need people to run the donation drives. 10 to 15 is a good starting point. And then, of course, we will need volunteers to donate the items. Then we can also use volunteers to create flyers as well. And we can partner with 4-H junior leader clubs and local churches.
Thank you, Katie. I'm going to stop sharing now.
All right. So Anna Claire and I think Lily is next. So great job, team. That was an awesome debrief. So far, great debriefs from all of our teams. Anna Claire, are you there? Or do you need me to pull up? Awesome, great. See, y'all, Anna Claire's had some weather too, so we're kind of working through some weather today. All right.
Lily. Okay, so we're going to, the approximate start date of our project will be March 15th, 2021. And the approximate end date, it will be May 15th, 2021. And what we'll do is volunteers at shelters around the state and just spending time with the animals so that they're less scared, because dogs and cats, they get like that sometimes. And we will also collect items for a drive, like leashes, bagged food, beds, pee pads, and things like that. Also, we'll be taking blankets. Then we'll need some marketing and social media advertising kind of things. And we also agreed that some people, like a bunch of people in our group, like to bake. So we decided that making treats, like some homemade treats for the animals, would be a good thing to do too. And some people said that we kind of had a little disagreement on when we would do it, but we came to a compromise of the date of March 15th, and we just didn't know if, because Sorry, I don't even know what to say. So, I'm going to move on to the next category now. So, we have a lot of people who would like to do the task. So, we thought at first, like the people in our group, and a lot of people at their schools, they have like other clubs, like the Beta Club and Junior Leader Club, and it would be a lot of those clubs collaborate with each other so that the Beta people can get their service hours and 4-H people can put that in their portfolios, and just friends and family can help too, and volunteers. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Lily.
All right. So, and then team one, we didn't quite get to our brainstorming resources, but that's okay. Unless, Anna Claire, is there anything else you wanted to add from your group?
Yes. So I had a couple ideas, and the supplies that we'd need, of course, would be like the leashes, bag pet food, pee pads for the drive, and then we need baking materials so that we could bake the treats. And we could have a community partner with maybe like a local food bank so that we could use their kitchens, or maybe a restaurant so that we could borrow their kitchen. For money, we don't necessarily need a lot of money. We just need items for the drive. We would probably need around like $100 just for, paper, like having to hand out flyers, and just for maybe like refreshments or other things like that. Expertise, we'd probably need like a veterinarian there, the leaders of the shelter so that they could help us out and they could overview kind of that everything was running smoothly. And volunteers, we would need, of course, just a lot of friends and family who are willing to help, volunteers that are not only in 4-H but all throughout the community, and just anyone who is willing to help.
So awesome job, Anna Claire. So great job by all our teams, ambassadors, and then for our youth that led those debriefs, since been looking in the chat, y'all did an excellent job. So please don't be hard on yourself when you're leading a debrief. That's a skill that you're developing, and you've done an excellent job. And so pat on the back to all y'all for working together. Some of you even had disagreements and talking about how you've been able to compromise in your teams, even in a virtual environment. And so just want to say that you've done a tremendous job and just very proud of what y'all accomplished. And so we're going to move on now and do just a couple of things. We've got to give away our prizes, and we're kind of running, as we often do, virtual camp, kind of running short on time. But so let's move into our name wheel spin. So if you've been participating in all of the virtual sessions, you have your camp alias in the wheel. And so does one of our ambassadors want to give it a spin?
I can.
Great. All right, here you go.
Yay, Yellow Snack Iberia. Congratulations.
So Yellow Snack Iberia, you've run a capture, and so I do need sizes from those folks. So just stay on for a few moments or send me an email to give me your size. So I do need sizes. So thanks. Great job there. Now we're going to move on and we're going to play Kahoot. I know we like to play Kahoot. So we're going to do that. Just give me a moment. And then Sean, are you going to lead our Kahoot today? Great. All right, so I've got it on the screen. And then Sean, you're going to read the.
All right. In third place, Mighty Pelican. In the second place, Winged Giraffe. And in first place, Lucky Gator. Congratulations.
Awesome job, y'all. So Lucky Gator won a shirt, so you can stay on just a few moments after the call, or if you can't do that, just shoot me an email. Great, so just wrapping up, we're a few minutes late, but that's okay. I'm just going to reiterate a few things. As you know, each of the sessions has a take-home packet. So within your packet, you can work on developing a project plan for your individual service project. You can see more information about that in the session 3 packet, and that will be emailed to you on or before tomorrow, July 22nd. Also, you can complete your reflection to earn your digital badge, a project planner. Stay connected with your fellow campers with our Flipgrid and our Padlet. We're going to post another question to the Flipgrid, see if you can respond to that. And then some of our campers have been really active on the Padlet, sharing ideas. So those are virtual bulletin boards, or you can go on there and interact with your fellow campers. So I encourage you to do that. The last session next week is focused on change. We're going to talk about evaluation of your project and a number of really important topics before we kind of finish out creating these frameworks for our service projects. And then the reflection, like I said, will be emailed out either on or before tomorrow. And for those of you that may have missed it last week, you can access your virtual badges by clicking on the View Backpack. When you click to access your badges, you can print those, share those, you can download certificates, and use those to upload to a portfolio, project book, or anything else that you're looking to or share on social media. And that concludes our session of today's session of virtual camp. Love to see you guys next week. If you have questions or whatnot, you want to stay on, we're glad to answer those. If you need to stay on because you won a prize and need to share your size, you can go ahead and do that. Great job to our ambassadors and our instructors, you know, and then for everybody that shared today, you guys did an excellent job. And we look forward to having you next week. Thank y'all so much.